Let me start off with the base. Go to Deuteronomy 1. Find out who we are. Because that's a lot to saying, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. But who is God talking to? Because we might think he's talking to the whole world. But God ain't dealing with the whole world. God ain't dealing with the Asian man. He ain't dealing with the white man. He ain't dealing with the African man. Right. He ain't dealing with the Indian man. Right. He dealing with the 12 tribes of Israel, which is so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And that's it. Watch this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 1. Right. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
Saying who these words spake to? Israel. All Israel. So what's written in this Bible is written to who? Okay, watch this. Go to Deuteronomy 28. Right. But watch this. This gonna make.
This in Israel?
Oh no, this is lies. But why is this in the church? So why we going to church still? Why we going to church every Sunday if they got this picture hanging out? Everybody in the congregation is a black man except the one we worship. Hey, come on back, bro. You gotta learn this too. Come on.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what we talking about. Come on back. Since you know.
Hold on. Look at it. You look at it, and this is what your kids is thinking.
You correct.
Sit up here and look at it, and the first thing your baby has a sponge in his mind, look at this white man with blue eyes and say that's what we're praying to.
Right. You ain't lying about that. But hey, but is that right? Hey, come here, right here, bro.
Right there, this is Jesus.
Come on.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken.
Hey, you hear what it says? It says, it shall come to pass if we will not hearken. Read.
Unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Hey, my brother with the beanie on. Where's the voice of the Lord thy God?
It's inside the spirit, man.
This is the voice. Because you got things said it's inside of us naturally, but we've been corrupted. We've been now our spirit is evil as hell.
Evil towards one another.
We killing ourselves. We smoke. You gotta think about that. On the back of that box it say will cause cancer, but yet we still smoking.
Right.
When we see each other, we got hatred for one another. Our spirits is full of evil right now. But we supposed to be seeking out the word of God. It said, read that again.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments.
It said, remember it was talking to the children of Israel, right? It said, if we don't do all his commandments, what's going to happen to us?
And his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses.
It said all these curses. Now, is a curse a good thing or a bad thing? What you say, bro? Back there. Is a curse a good thing or a bad thing? It's a bad thing. You ain't never heard of a good curse, right? It said, if the children of Israel don't do the commandments, all these what?
All these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
It said it will come upon us and overtake us. When you think about our communities, the situations that we in, throughout the whole world, not just here in Pensacola, throughout the whole world, are we blessed or are we cursed? As a collective group. And then nobody will rise above their nation. When LeBron James was out visiting somewhere else, somebody went and spray painted nigga on his house a couple years ago. In Paris, or France, Oprah tried to buy a purse. They said, hell no, you ain't selling this to no nigga. But you see how is that not a curse? That's a curse. They put her in her place. That you know, bruh, you still ain't nothing. You still, like Jay-Z came out, I'm not black, I'm OJ. Okay, still nigga. That's what he just said. Still, but read it again.
Check this out. Can I say something?
Hold on. I want to get my point across to you real quick. Read that again.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Hey, don't go nowhere, because you got to think about it. It said, if you don't hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, who's going to be cursed? Don't you want to stop being cursed? Don't you want your people to stop being cursed? Because you out here speaking a lot of different things, but you should be speaking the Bible so you can stop your people from being cursed. Right. You can stop the generation curses. Your kids, your grandkids, and your kids after that, they ain't gonna look at this guy and say this is Christ. Right. They're gonna look at each other and see the God in them. That way they stop the violence. Right. We really want to stop the violence. We gotta show our kids what God looks like. Right. We got to show them the true image if we really want to stop the violence, because ain't no protest, ain't no Black Lives Matter if yet we killing each other, we don't know what Christ look like, we getting abortions. No such thing as Black Lives Matter. Read it again. Verse 16. Now let's see, does anybody fit this curse? Read that.
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
Now in Pensacola, you let me know where the hood at. And who dwelled there? Right. And who lived there? Who lived there? Did the Chinese man live there? No. Let's read it again.
That's right. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
You said I'm looking at the hood. You said the blacks live there. So the Chinese man ain't living there. So he can't fit this.
Right.
The white man ain't living there. He can't fit this. I bet you who owned this store?
Chinese.
He don't live there.
Right.
But he right in our neighborhood taking our money. And we taking it back to his community.
Bring it out.
Curse, shall we? That's a curse. Read.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Y'all think we was getting paid for this? Look at this. Look at this sign. Did we get paid for that? We should have. Look, the same. When you go to Walmart, you buy cotton T-shirts. Who owns Walmart? His name is Sam Walton. He not only owns Walmart, but he owns Sam's Club. So he getting you two ways. You leave Walmart, go to Sam's Club, he got you 2 times. Matter of fact, he got you 3 times because your ancestors in the field picking cotton for his. So you got to think about that. That's a curse. Put that down, officer. You good? Read it again.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
You got to think about it. Anywhere you want to, anytime you want to get drugs, where do people go? They go to the projects. Now, does this fit anybody besides the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? Nah, because remember, who was God speaking to though? What he called them? The children of who?
The heathen.
We're gonna read it again.
Israel.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So who he speaking to? So where did African American come from? Because you gotta think about it. The book of Genesis is the very first book of the Bible. You can't find the term African American in there. So if that's the beginning of people, where did African American come from? It was given to us by slave masters.
Right.
How did we get over here?
On both, I believe.
Did you know that's in the Bible?
Yeah.
All praises. You know, so you know you're an Israelite.
Right.
You do know.
Yeah, I know.
How you know?
I worship. I go with Alan over there to the mosque.
To the who?
To the mosque.
The mosque.
Yeah.
That's Islam, correct?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Islam? That's garbage. Islam and Israel, 2 different things.
Go.
Yeah, God told you to keep his commandments. He ain't tell you to worship no rock,
Right.
no cobblestone. That's what they do in Islam, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. Elijah Muhammad. Y'all watch him. He don't keep no commandments. Watch this, watch this, watch this. Go to Deuteronomy 28 and 47. Watch this. I'm about to prove to you how you got that religion. Read.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things.
Because the children of Israel don't serve God with joyfulness and gladness and abundance of heart. Right? Today is the Lord's Sabbath day, but we don't know. But we know what day. What is December 25th? But we know that.
Right.
So we ain't keeping God's laws. God, you let me know in the Bible where it say that Christ was born on December 25th. How on the July 4th we celebrate what? Independence Day. We were still in slavery. What we independent from? It said because we don't serve the God with what?
With joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
We serving our enemies, and our enemies taught us Islam. Our enemies taught us Christianity. Our enemies taught us Baptists. Our enemies taught us Buddhism. Our enemies taught us these things. That's why we serving gods that don't look like us. Every nation God looks like them but us. Because we not serving the one true God of the Bible. Because we break his commandments. Therefore we don't know who we are anymore. Read on.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
You see that? Why? This is how you know that the Lord has something to do with it. The Chinese man, all about this tall. Why the white man didn't come get him? Why he ain't, what you saying? Why he ain't go get the Indian man? Why he ain't go get the Arab man? But he come get the children of Israel because God sent them against us. Read.
In hunger.
And hunger. When you want something to eat, where you gotta go? Who owned that? Remember we just went over. You go right here too when you hungry. Who own that? This gonna be that right there in your face. That right there in your face, who own that? Remember we just talked about Sam's Club and Walmart has been owned by the same dude.
Yeah.
Walgreens, McDonald's, Burger King, all that is our oppressors own that stuff. And the Lord sent them against us. And the Lord said what? Read it again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst.
You drinking something right now. Where you get that water from? Right at the store. Who own that?
Chinese.
That lets you know, man, we got more than one enemy.
That's right.
We got more than one enemy. We think we all the only time we think of enemy, we like, man, the white man. No, the white man, he ain't the only one.
Nah, he ain't the only one.
He ain't the only one. All these nations had their hand in our slavery.
Yeah.
They all came up. That's why you got to think about it. The Chinese man, the Arab man could come from their different countries and get a loan just like that. To get a, oh, they ain't got to get a loan. America gives them money.
Yeah.
Your forefathers picked cotton for 400 years and you can't even get a loan.
That's right.
Why is that? Because we ain't keeping God's commandments.
Right.
We don't know God's commandments. Let me some commandments, my brother. Hold on. Before you go that, we're gonna finish it out. Read that.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness.
Your clothes. Now we all know a few sisters that own their own boutique store, but where they get their material from? They get it from their enemies. Read.
And in want of all things.
My brother, what the heck? Before you leave, come on back. Before you leave, it said in want of all things.
Yeah.
Where you get your education from?
High school.
And what curriculum you learning? Your enemy's curriculum, right?
Right.
They teach you what they do. February they call it Black History Month. Why they only teach Martin Luther King?
Right.
That's it, yeah.
That's it. Why they don't teach the Black Messiah?
Right.
You know.
Because your enemies, you gotta learn in the want of all things. Your driver's license, who you get that from?
Ain't he never had them, bro.
All praises. You need to get them if you're driving.
That's
You
right.
need to follow the laws of the land, bro. Just to be real with you. What about your when you pay rent? Who you paying that to?
Man, here in your house.
Huh?
Here in your house.
And who own that?
The man.
The who?
The man.
Which man?
The white man.
That's right. And we can't be afraid to say it. We can't say the man and the white man owning this stuff. And what God just called him? What God called him?
You tell me.
Okay, we read at the Bible.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
What God just called a white man? What God just called the Chinese man? What God called the Arab man? We got enemies out here.
Right.
We got to understand that these people don't love us. We are the only place.
You say enemy is a hater, right? Something like a hater or a snitch.
He hates you.
He hates you.
You know why he hates you? You know why he hates you?
Because you ain't doing that
Because he sell you cigarettes.
Yeah.
He got malt liquor in our neighborhood. He put pork in everything. Because God said we ain't supposed to eat pork. That's how he hates you. Because he knows that if we sin against our God, he ain't gonna be able to protect us and he kill us for it. So it's easy for me, okay, I'm gonna put some pork in this food. He ain't even gonna know it. I'm gonna name it something else. I'm gonna sell him shrimp, crab, and lobster and tell him it's a delicacy.
Right.
So now what we be thinking, oh, I'm finna go get a big crab. We think we doing something. Because our enemies hate us. Read on.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
You can take out your phone and Google yokes. Only one people gonna pop up with yokes of iron on their neck.
No.
And that's the so-called black man, which is the Israelites according to the Bible.
That's right.
This happened to us. It didn't happen to all nations. And God is only talking to the Israelites, which is you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And the reason this happened to us, because of sin.
Right.
We got to come back to knowing that we are the children of Israel and how to serve the one true God the correct way. Because the church ain't teaching us the correct way. That's why there's a church in every hood, but yet there's still drugs, prostitution, everything within that church.
Right.
Pastor knocking down everybody.
Right.
Taking your money, he driving the Benz, I'm getting on the bus. He ain't teaching us right. Because he teaching the doctrine of our slaves, our slavery. Right. Just like if you ever seen, you put it down, officer. If you ever seen 12 years No, Birth of a Nation. You ever seen Birth of a Nation? Nat Turner, they had him teach slaves obey your master, and they would tell him to do a feel-good story. But as he started really reading, he started understanding, like, hold on. We the people of the book.
Right.
An eye for an eye. They put us in slavery, they supposed to get God. That's the same thing with the pastors. They teaching us, obey your masters and close the book. Pay your tithes, close the book. How is tithing? They say the laws is done away with, but yet tithing, the law's still there.
Bring it out.
What sense does that make? So every law done away but that one?
Bring it out.
You got to think about it. That's how you know they're not teaching us right. Because you got to read it from that bottom part where you was just at. Want everything.
And in one of all things.
So they getting their religion from the so-called white man, from the so-called Arab man when they learned that that Islam crap.
Right.
From the Chinaman when they want to learn Buddhism. We getting all that crap from our enemies. And do you think your enemy gonna teach you to be great?
No. Bring it out.
No, because his whole agenda is to keep you under him.
Bring it out.
But God put us on this earth to rule this earth.
That's right. Bring it out.
Only reason why we're in the conditions we in now is because we continually break God's commandments because we don't know him.
Right.
Even those who do know him say, I know him in Israel and that, and they walk off. But what even G.I. Joe said, knowing is half the battle. If G.I. Joe said it, what God is saying? He's saying do, action, action, action. We got to make sure we implement action in the words that we are saying when it comes to the word of God.
Right.
Read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
We so destroyed. We call ourselves African American. We call ourselves black. We call ourselves real niggas. We call ourselves bees. We take pride in the name that we was given in slavery, which is the last name.
Bring it out.
Oh, I'm a Johnson. You can't do this to a Johnson. You can't do this to a Williams. That's because we broke down. Johnson is just a slave master's name.
Right.
Williams is a slave master's name. Jones is a slave master's name. Your name was Israel before you came over here on those slave ships. But we don't know that because we've been destroyed. Read. Go to 68. Go to 68.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt.
Hold on. Go to signs and wonder. Go to signs and wonder. Because this is how we know that we are the Israelites, because when you read this Bible, it only lines up with one people.
That's right.
It lines up with one nation. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
It said the curse is going to be upon us for a sign. When you want to go to, when you want some ice, how you know that thing sell ice? Because it got a sign on there that say ice.
Right.
When you want to come to whatever gas station this is, you see the name on it. It's the sign.
Right.
Now these curses, you don't, like I asked the brother, where the project's at, he said right there. I said, who lived there? He said the black man. God said the children of Israel going to be cursed in the city. So that's a curse. Living in the projects. Right. A lot of us come from the projects.
Right.
That's a curse. That's not a good thing to live house on house. I can hear everybody arguing. I can hear shooting. Your kids walk out, they shooting dice right there on the porch.
Right.
They fighting each other. Right. That's a curse. Right. And it only happened to the children of Israel.
Right.
Read.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
You gotta wonder why do we live like this? Why? This is crazy. Flint, Michigan hasn't had clean water in over 10 years, but yet right down the road, the Detroit Pistons just built $1 billion complex, an arena. So you mean they couldn't go to Flint right up the road and fix that infrastructure? Right. Fix their pipes? Because the children of Israel.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road. Purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.